For almost 2,000 years, an entire city lay frozen beneath the ash. Men, women, children, caught in the exact second they died. This is Pompeii, a Roman city of maybe 15,000 souls, erased not over years, not over days, but in a single afternoon and the night that followed. We know the hour they stopped eating. We know which door they died reaching for. What we still argue about is the day it began. In the 1st century, Pompeii was not a ruin. It was rich. It sat in the shadow of a mountain the Romans called Vesuvius, though most of them had no idea it was a volcano at all. Its slopes were the finest farmland in Italy. Vineyards, olive groves, soil so black and fertile it made men wealthy. Below, the city hummed. A busy port on the river Sarno moved wine and garum, a pungent fermented fish sauce Pompeii was famous for, out across the whole Roman world. Walk its streets today, and you can still read the life off the stones. Stepping stones worn smooth by cartwheels. Snack bars with their round jars still set into the counters. Bakeries with the millstones intact and loaves still in the oven. There were villas with gardens and fountains, walls painted in reds and golds so vivid they look wet. There was a forum, temples, 2 theatres, an amphitheatre that seated 20,000, the oldest stone amphitheatre we know of. And there was graffiti, election slogans, lovers' names, a scratch on one wall that reads simply, "Nothing can last forever." They had no idea how right they were. By the year 79, Pompeii had already survived one warning. 17 years earlier, a violent earthquake had cracked the city open. They rebuilt, bigger, prouder. The tremors that kept coming after that? Just the ground being the ground, nothing to fear. The mountain was patient. It had been quiet for centuries, long enough to be forgotten. In the autumn of 79 AD, and yes, autumn, not August, charcoal graffiti and the last fruits of the harvest have pushed the old August date into doubt. The mountain woke up. Around midday, Vesuvius tore itself open. A column of ash and pumice punched 20, then 30 kilometers into the sky. A black pine tree of smoke that an eyewitness, a young man named Pliny, watched from across the bay and wrote down for us. His account is why we still call this kind of eruption Plinian. Then it began to rain stone. For roughly 18 hours, pumice fell on Pompeii, light, porous rock, piling up at 15 centimeters an hour. It choked the streets. It collapsed roofs under its own weight. Those who ran early in that first afternoon mostly lived. Those who sheltered, who waited for it to pass, who went back for one more thing. The mountain was not finished with them. In the dark hours before dawn, the eruption column, too heavy now to hold itself up, collapsed. And what came down the slope was not ash falling gently. It was a pyroclastic surge, a ground-hugging avalanche of gas and rock, moving faster than 100 kilometers an hour, heated to several hundred degrees. There is no outrunning it. There is no sheltering from it. When it reached the people still hiding in Pompeii, death came in moments, from heat alone, before the ash even buried them. By the time the sun should have risen, it didn't. The city was gone. Under it, up to 6 meters of ash and stone. And Pompeii simply stopped existing. For the next 17 centuries, Pompeii was a rumor. A name farmers used for a hill where broken pottery turned up in the fields. Then, in 1748, they started to dig. And they found something no other ruin on earth had given them. Because the ash had sealed everything the instant it fell, Pompeii was not a pile of rubble. It was a photograph. Bread on tables, coins in hands, political posters still on the walls. But the most haunting discovery came later. The diggers kept hitting empty pockets in the hardened ash. In 1863, an archaeologist named Giuseppe Fiorelli realized what they were. The spaces left behind as bodies decayed. He poured liquid plaster into the voids, and when the ash was chipped away, there they were. Not skeletons, people. A man shielding his face, a mother curled around her child, a dog, still chained, twisting against its collar. Frozen in the exact posture of their last second alive. Of an estimated 2,000 who died here, more than 1,000 have been found. We have their faces. We do not have their names. What remains of Pompeii today is not really a dead city. It is the most alive the ancient world ever gets to be. A place where you can stand in a bakery and the loaves are still in the oven, and the baker never came back. Or cruel. It fell because it stood in the wrong place and trusted a mountain that had learned to wait. 3 million people live in that shadow today. Vesuvius is only sleeping. Everything you saw still stands. You can walk it. The ash gave the city the one thing time takes from everywhere else. It stayed. Another Aeon, another pile of ashes.